All right, good, thank you. All right, this one is called Fabulous Ones, and it features a character I'm sure everybody will know. I don't even have to explain. Big Bird. And it is also brought to you by the letter C. The poem is, not Big Bird. Cattle egret, Big Bird says, cetacean, the word squeaking like wet whale skin. Big Bird keeps it real, his thug life strut. Do you like giants? Only the small ones, the boy says. Chinese catfish, cassava, cassowary. He's an intellectual, spends his days off in coffee houses, crossing and uncrossing the long orange tubes of his legs, discussing Chomsky, conditional freedom, and Cervantes with anyone who will listen. He marches against the war, 1,000 people at his back, chanting catastrophe, cruise missile, children. Big Bird refuses to fly south for the winter, puts on his scarf and heads out the door. You can't fool me, the boy says. I know Big Bird's not real. It's just a suit with a little bird inside. This is those that tremble as if they were mad. This is about a place in Costa Rica, actually. Sunlight slits into the mist which lingers in the forest. Leaves so jittery with the pulse of dripping water, their shadows tremble on the forest floor. And a hummingbird, a green-violet ear, haunts the lilac-blazed path down the Rio Segre Valley, where in stock ponds trout rib the water with interlocking loops as they rise toward a late hatch of stonefly. The bird's incomprehensible heart hammers up into the rafters of its chest as its black tongue wires the blossoms from below. And what this has to do with knowledge, who can say? Madness could be the road down canyon, laddered switchbacks testing the gearbox, could be coffee plantations woven into the cliffside, the crimson pointillism of the fruit against the waxy leaves. But benevolence must be the color of the oceanic tear that streaks the emerald iridescence, must be the act of naming this bird for the sea, Colibri thalassamus. So far from the shore, the cloud surf breaks against the coast of the Cordillera far below. This is innumerable ones. How to count. Begin with 1 or n plus 1, where n is the number of ants in the colony, and 1 is you looking over your own shoulder, looking into the earth, driving a stick down into the mound like a gifted chimp, pulling it out to count the inscrutable bodies, huge-headed warriors sawing the wood, where n is bacteria, and 1 is your colon, the wealth of E. coli colonizing and shifting upriver, where n is the burger you ate yesterday, and 1 is you heaving into the sink and falling back, racked with fever, where n is brine shrimp, and 1 the stink they make on a hot day, the light above the Great Salt Lake gone flat and gauzy, where n is the caribou cresting across the porcupine in the Yukon, and n squared the mosquitoes that blind them, eyes jammy with crushed bodies and drive them mad, where 1 is the Cessna and the rifle, where 1 is the bullet and the carcass resting on the tundra's mossy sponge. All right, I'll just read one poem. This is the poem I close with. Before I close, I want to thank you guys for coming out again. You've been a very enjoyable audience to read to. I appreciate it, Frank. Appreciate being invited back so quickly. It's a pleasure to come here. This is the last section of my first book, which was a long poem called The Halo Brace. It's a long sequence poem. And it's a long love poem. And I know you guys didn't think I had it in me, really, but I do. I got it all out in one book. That's why I don't write this anymore. And it features a narrator who's sometimes a he, sometimes an I, and a woman who's just known by her initial J. But this one actually starts with my parents. So this is the Halo Brace 53. My father gazes on a blazing haze, his Iowa prairies running to the horizon. The grass is tall and blonde, and the sun is going down. My mother joins him, the dark tears of her horn rims pinching her face, a squint as if she missed something in the middle distance. It is 1963. The world is changing, they don't even know, though she will grow her hair long and he will wear his collars wide. They are my age and this light is heavy with unfolding, the dark opening across the small yellow house on the cul-de-sac. The day's last light is long and auburn. It touches their faces, and perhaps I'm speaking to them now. You will have a son and he will love you, and he will come to love beside a woman with rain-dark hair. New days, Jay and I cross fields still golden in the early autumn, watch the wind pass through this grass, leaving patterns no one ever learns. You will be happy while you have each other, and the world will change beneath you. Thank you very much.